The newest movie from Illumination is here, and what makes this one particularly interesting is that it's directed by Benjamin Renner, who is behind the charming hand-drawn animated films Ernest and Celestine and The Big Bad Fox and Other Tales. And now he has given us another movie centered on cute talking animals, specifically ducks, titled Migration. How this movie fared for me? What stood out to me the most was the simplicity of its storyline. Don't confuse that as a knock against the movie though. The intention was clearly to present a simple story of these ducks migrating and seeing what adventures they get into. The structure is quite episodic as we see them fly from place to place, although a larger connecting narrative does start to form. And if you thought the Super Mario Bros. Movie was fast-paced, Migration really speeds by. It does not take long into the movie for the Mallard family to head off on their migration to Jamaica, and then they're whisked to each location at top speed. This is a very short movie, but does not sacrifice character as a result. It seems to be going for something akin to classic cartoons, where there's a gag every second and the characters wind up in different comical situations. While there are a few sentimental moments, the main intent of Migration is mainly to provide laughs, and it does decently in that regard. That's mainly a credit to the animators and Illumination, who give these characters a lot of physicality and energy. Something Renner seems to particularly enjoy doing is having the camera swoop through various places that the birds fly, and it does capture that feeling of flight. The mallards themselves are a simply defined but likable bunch. Most of the funny moments belong to the youngest duck, Gwen, voiced by newcomer Tressie Gazal. It's very much the typical overly cute child character, but she thankfully never becomes annoying. The other voice actors do what's required of them and don't stretch too much. By the way, Awkwafina has a small role in this because it is now legally required to voice a character in at least one animated film per year. No, really, it was signed into Congress and everything. Jokes aside, I think she's often cast because she does have a unique voice that's well suited to animated characters. She plays a tough pigeon leader and gets a few funny interactions with the mallards. I've always been an admirer of Illumination's animation. Migration provides another beautiful effort from them. The character designs have a certain charm to them too, primarily on the ducks. There are definitely elements of Benjamin Renner's hand-drawn movies, and he seems to have a real understanding of how to make animals look appealing in animation. The opening sequence especially stood out to me with its hand-drawn appearance. However, I was surprised to learn afterwards that the opening is actually computer animated rather than hand-drawn. It really shows how remarkable the animators at Illumination are. John Powell composed the music for Migration, which reminded me a lot of the score he did for Rio. That's not a bad thing though, and he does particularly well with the scenes of the birds flying. Another curious thing is that this movie shares certain similarities with the new Chicken Run sequel that just came out, specifically in depicting these birds trying to avoid being cooked and placed on a restaurant plate. It's just funny that both movies are coming out at around the same time, but I don't think either ripped off the other. It's more so a case that two animated films about birds in production at the same time hit upon a similar theme, and with both being produced in Europe, there's probably an equal admiration between Illumination and Aardman. The main villain in the movie is a chef at a New York restaurant who gives chase to the birds, and I found him a creative character. He does not have any dialogue, and his design is like something out of a Popeye cartoon, and like the birds, he has a specific way of moving, and there's definitely a rooty interest in hoping the ducks can escape his clutches. Of the little episodes of Migration, the confrontation with the chef is probably the most interesting. Overall, I did have a fun time with Migration. It's a simple story, but told nicely through the visuals and the interactions between this family of ducks and the different sorts of characters they meet on their journey. By the way, preceding the movie is a Despicable Me short film titled Mooned. It centers on Vector, the villain from the first movie, and his attempts to escape the moon. It's an amusing enough short, although the best moments belong to the Minions. It mostly feels like it's setting up his potential return in Despicable Me 4 and getting the audience excited for that. Illumination does not make a habit of including shorts of their theatrical releases, and it's something I wish they did a lot more of. In any case, Migration provides an enjoyable enough experience and another nice movie from Benjamin Renner.